a story by the Brothers Grimm. Long ago, there was a kind young girl named Ella who lost the mother she adored. Her father remarried a woman with 2 daughters. After the wedding, her father told Ella, "I'm happy I've found someone warm and caring to nurture you while I'm gone." Then he left for his work in faraway kingdoms. The day he left, the stepmother and her daughters showed their true faces. Ella went to sit with them in the sitting room, and the stepmother smiled at her coldly.
Did you think you'd keep company with us? From now on, you are to rise before daybreak and carry the water, light the fire, do the cooking, and wash until late in the evening.
You're our kitchen maid now, ridiculous girl. Get out. Go and do the chores.
The sisters took pleasure in making more work for Ella's tired hands. They dirtied clothing, spilled glasses, and even scattered peas into the fireplace.
You'll need to pick those out of the ashes, one by one.
In the evening, Ella had no bed. She slept by the grey, dusty cinders of the fireplace.
You're always so filthy. We should call you Cinderella.
Oh, yes.
And from then on, that is what her stepmother and stepsisters always called her. Ella, Cinderella, missed her parents terribly. Her personality was naturally positive. However, she determined to make the best of her situation. On one particularly gloomy morning, she looked out the window and said,
There has to be a way out of this. I must come up with a plan. And as I do, a song will help. A song can help brighten the dreariest of days. Someday, I'll make things better. Someday, I'll leave this house. Someday, there'll be sunshine. Someday, the clouds will part. Someday, I'll make friends who laugh and warm my heart.
Her singing charmed the tiny creatures around her home. Bunnies, squirrels, and birds flocked to her and danced around her ankles.
Hello, darling.
This healed Cinderella's heart a bit, though it still was not home. On the very hardest, loneliest days, Cinderella went to her mother's grave and wept.
I miss you, Mother.
Where her tears fell, a beautiful tree grew, and a small white bird appeared on a branch.
I am the spirit of your mother's love, sent in your hour of sadness. Tell me what wishes I may grant, to bring your heart some gladness.
Truly?
Cinderella tried to dry her tears.
Then, may I have a delicious peach?
It appeared.
A rose?
It appeared.
A book?
It too appeared.
Thank you, sweet bird. You have lightened my spirit.
Cinderella put these wonderful treasures in her pockets and hurried home. Shortly thereafter, the king made an important announcement.
We shall have a royal dance to find my son a bride. All the villagers are invited.
When the stepsisters heard this, they excitedly called Cinderella.
Come and dye in my dress. Come and curl my hair.
Cinderella helped her stepsisters get ready. Then she went to her stepmother.
May I go too? It says that all are to attend.
Her stepmother stood up stiffly.
Finish your chores and you may go, but only if you are not dirty and grimy.
While Cinderella was drawing water at the well, the spiteful stepmother said to her daughters,
quick. Spill a sack of peas into the ashes and dirty all the dishes.
Then she took a large spoon and splattered jam all over the floors. Cinderella returned and was appalled at the mess.
Good luck tidying up, Cinderella!
The stepsisters sneered and laughed. Then they left for the dance. They knew Cinderella could never clean such an awful mess, and herself in time. Cinderella despaired, but then remembered the little white dove. She hurried to the tree and told the bird everything.
Can you please help me?
The bird glowed magically.
A full day's work will take less than an hour, for a mother's love holds the greatest power.
A magical wind whirled around Cinderella. She watched with astonishment as birds, squirrels, mice and rabbits streamed from the woods to her home. They quickly completed all the chores left by her wicked stepmother and vanished again into the forest.
Oh, thank you, Dove. You are very kind, all of you. However, I cannot go to the dance in these dirty clothes.
At once, tiny star-like sparks showered down from the branches of the tree and fell softly over Cinderella. In a moment, she was transformed. Her tattered dress became a lovely silk gown.
A tiara, white gloves, glass slippers.
Cinderella thanked the bird with all her heart and hurried to the royal dance. She entered the palace, where friendly chatter and beautiful flowers surrounded her. The villagers were enjoying fine food and drinks and dancing merrily.
This is so beautiful.
Cinderella was overcome with indescribable happiness. She joined the dancing and twirled from partner to partner. She smiled and laughed more that night than she had in months. Cinderella's jubilant high spirits were contagious, and the entire room seemed to brighten in her presence.
Who on earth is that girl?
Cinderella's stepmother looked on jealously as the prince himself bowed to Cinderella. As the prince and Cinderella whirled, he too found himself smiling in response to Cinderella's laughter and her pure enjoyment of the evening. The two danced together merrily until midnight, when the music came to an end. Then the prince turned to Cinderella, took her hand and said, "Please, tell me your name. I must see you again."
I'm sorry, I can't.
It was such a perfect night. Cinderella didn't want the prince to see her as a servant in her very own home, dressed in dirty clothes with her awful stepmother and sisters ordering her around. Embarrassed, she ran. "Wait, please!" The prince raced after Cinderella, but she disappeared into the night, leaving behind a single glass slipper sparkling in the moonlight. "Wait, please! Your slipper!" When her stepmother and stepsisters got home, they found Cinderella sleeping as usual in her dirty clothes by the fireplace. Her beautiful dress, jewelry, and one glass slipper lay hidden in a kitchen cupboard. The next morning, the prince traveled throughout the village and asked every girl to try on the glass slipper. "I want to ask the owner of this slipper to be my bride." At last, he arrived at Cinderella's house. Every other maiden in the village had already tried the slipper, and it fit no one. "The maiden I seek must live here." He knocked on the door. The two stepsisters were thrilled to see the prince. The eldest tried the slipper, but she couldn't stuff her big toes into it, no matter how she struggled.
Oh, stupid shoe!
Then the other sister tried and found it impossible to slide the dainty slipper over her bulging heel. This is the last house. There must be a mistake. Have you any other daughters? The stepmother's eyes narrowed.
None.
At that moment, Cinderella stepped lightly into the room.
That is not entirely true. She may not consider me her daughter, but there is another girl in this house.
Her stepmother scowled as Cinderella sat and easily slipped her foot into the glass slipper. The prince beamed. I am so happy to have found you again. Please, would you come to live with me at the castle, and perhaps one day consider being my bride? The stepmother and stepsisters looked horrified as Cinderella wrapped her arms around him.
Yes, oh yes!
The prince smiled. Then he and Cinderella rode away on his horse. As they passed by the hazel tree, the white dove said,
Love and kindness found you, as like finds like, and now your mother's heart can rest. May all your days be warm and bright. May all your years be happy and blessed.
Eventually, the prince and Cinderella married in a beautiful wedding, and the entire village rejoiced. Cinderella and the prince loved each other forever, and led full and blissful lives together. The end.